and welcome to another edition of Tower Crane Television. I'm your host, Jay Nye, the Tower Crane Guy. Today, we're doing a ton of blind picks. We're stripping down some column forms, and we're stripping down some wall forms, and we're moving some material around. We're really losing a lot of space here because the building is getting closer and closer to the top. So, space is getting very limited. But I will we'll flip this camera around, and I'll kind of show you guys what we've accomplished since the last time I seen you. So let's do that real quick, okay? So here we are. I mean, we're getting there. This is the last floor of concrete for their parking garage. So as you can see, I mean, the tower's just getting smaller and smaller. It's just so much of it in the ground. There's probably 50 feet of it in the ground from the very, very bottom down there. So it's coming along. I mean, we're really starting to fill out here. Take a walk out here. Big, beautiful crane. This, in case you don't know, is an Potane MR160C luffing jib tower crane. It's a 11.5 ton. In pounds, that's 22,556 pounds. So she's a big beast. There's the shadow of her. Love that picture. But we're getting really close. As you can see, so what they'll do on this part is they'll lay down their rebar, they'll tie it in, and then they'll set their concrete on top of it. But I am going to put you guys right up here where you can see all the action. So let's put you up there. As you can see right out there in front of us, that's where we're going to be doing this next pick from. They're going to get that column form free, and we'll pick that thing up out of there here in a minute. But like I said, we're going to be here just a second waiting on that. They got to get it loose still and get it separated from the form, from the concrete. So I'm gonna walk around a little bit. So they're gonna free that up, and we're gonna pick it, and we're gonna put it right over here. That's been their lay down yard so far. We have about another year on this job of wood framing and really doing the completion of the building. There's a lot of stuff that has to take place still to complete this out. There's a lot of work left. So we've really just scratched the surface as far as like there's still a whole building that's going to go on top of this parking garage. So it's like building two things, you know. You built the parking garage, and then you're going to build the building on top of it. They must be having a hard time getting that thing apart or something. Sometimes it goes quick, and sometimes it just goes slow. So There's a stairwell. And they have another one. So there's the elevator core. You can see that. That's their elevator core. That one elevator or two. Either two or one. I think it's just one elevator. And they have another stairwell you can see through there. There's a shot inside the crane. There's my AC unit. Been working real good. Avery, what's up, bud? Now here we go. Let me put you guys back up here. We're getting into this this blind pick of this deal real quick. I'm gonna make it a little interesting. They just keep getting closer and closer with like their platform and their scaffolding, and makes it really interesting. I kind of gotta, you gotta do several things at once, trying to control the load, and you're trying to make sure you don't hit nothing. And it's fine and dandy. The guy's holding the piece out. It's fine and dandy. The guy's holding the piece out like that for now, but they're trying to maneuver it and get it out of there. There's no booming down. I mean, what am I booming down to? See, so I just turned right instead of booming down because it didn't make sense to boom down because it's stuck on the rebar, which you guys can't see. Now I can boom down because there's no distraction of the rebar.
Yep. Good hot.
About once a month, maybe twice a month, I'll walk the whole job site after I climb down the crane and see if there's any new distractions in my blind spot. It just keeps me aware of what's going on so these guys don't put me in a pickle. Because we're always, you're always adding stuff to the building, so you always want to make sure that you're not putting yourself in a position where things can go wrong. Now, with that being said, I recently had to fire the Rig Sig guy I had. I made this company fire him because he's just stupid. And he was one of those kids that got a radio, so his head was about as big as a building, and I literally had to knock him down a couple notches. And he put me in a position with a close call, and if anybody knows me, I immediately shut the crane down and went down, and I didn't talk too kindly to him, and we had words, and I made his foreman fire him. I made his foreman get rid of him, take him completely off the job site. I didn't want him anywhere around the crane because he's just ignorant, and that's the kind of stuff you run into sometimes with this kind of stuff, and there's no give when it comes to safety, and I made them get him off the job site. So I told them it was either me or him, and they weren't willing to lose a good operator because I told them the consequences of that are they'll get a shitty operator, and I'd make sure of it. So, but yeah, they fired the guy, and just being negligent, and I ain't got room for that shit. So, I mean, it's fun doing this job. It's a blast. I've never done nothing like it, but I absolutely don't have tolerance for people being unsafe and doing things unsafe. They replaced him with the guy you hear on the radio, and he's just been awesome. So, But, you know, I think sometimes stuff like that's preventable. I try to be a real easygoing guy and give people several chances. And I learned a lesson from it. You know, I learned a lesson that sometimes you can't give people several chances because they just don't want the opportunity to do a job. So, but anyway, things are going great. I mean, this job it's moving along. We got, like I said, about another year here. Probably be here till next August, and it's really cool because we did one part of the building, which is the parking garage. Now we have a whole nother building to put on top of it. So it's almost like being at two jobs at once, which is really neat. So let me pop on these comments. Keegan, what's up? Avery, what's up? Hi, Josh, what's up? You need to get to work, Josh. You're probably out there on the river in that boat. I'm on a boat, mother. I'm on a boat. Let's see. I got to get back over here, so let's look and see here. Let's see. Avery, Josh. Get on a job like this, you ain't gonna walk that you ain't gonna walk this shit. No, I hear you. I'll walk on I mean, if I absolutely have to get out on the jib, I will. I'll leave that to the maintenance guys. But I'll walk a jib. It don't bother me. I don't particularly like it, but the counter jib I got no problem with. But if I absolutely have to, I will. I normally don't. I keep my crane in immaculate shape. Avery, you see me up here, I'm sure, in the mornings with my flashlight. I mean, I'm doing inspections every single morning. Probably more thorough than what it's called for, but I always do a really thorough inspection. You never know if somebody climbed your crane or, you know, anything, especially in the neighborhood that I'm in. So I've already had one incident. Somebody had climbed the crane, and I keep everything locked up so they can't get in the cab. This way we don't have no riffraff. And I found a few things up on the deck that had been moved around, so I knew somebody had been up here. Thank God they didn't get in the cab. So
going down here.
my crane got struck by lightning beginning of this week, and I had a freak drive go out,
Going down a little bit more.
and it burned a computer out, and
Go right there. Come on down.
I was dead in the water with my slewing gear for the whole day, and the company had to come out and put a new computer in it, and we found that computer had been burned up.
Up foot. Stop.
So we put the new computer in, and I have one gear for my slew. So we got a new freak drive coming Monday, and we're hoping that's it. You know, we're hoping that will give me my second gear. So it's been real slow doing any type of swinging. And it makes it interesting because I didn't realize how much I relied on the second gear to catch my swing on stuff, you know. So it's just been, I have to slow down even more my thinking in my function, but my thinking has to slow down just a little more to catch the counter swing of stuff, because I only have the one slewing gear. So it's not bad. It just slowed everything down. But I think that's my biggest pet peeve is on myself, is to make sure that I'm always catching my counter swing, and I'm always I try to land everything like a butterfly, you know. Just like I always say, you know, you're only as good as your last pick. So I try to do everything 100%, 110% all the time. And it's fun. You know, this job, I'm up, bud. I've got weight on it.
Good right there.
There's no pick I'm afraid of doing. I just don't have a fear of picking anything up. I'm just comfortable doing that. But my biggest, I think my biggest thing is being my hardest critic. You know, when I let something, when I don't catch a swing on something or something, I get really hard on myself, and it just makes for. It's good to have that drive, you know. I never want to get lazy doing this. And don't get me wrong, it gets super repetitive. You know, we do the same exact thing every single day. So you gotta always try to keep your mind sharp, you know. The biggest challenges come from the people on the ground. That last rig and sig guy I had, I mean, I wish him the best of luck, but he was just absolute garbage. Garbage. The guy just wasn't into what his job was, and it just made for really long days trying to do his job and do my job at the same time. Because when you got somebody that's lazy like that and doesn't want to have any input on what they're doing, you gotta make up the slack. You could ask my wife, and there's plenty of times I came home and I was just stressed out from having to do somebody else's work and do my work, and until NCCCO regulates that rig sig guys have to get the NCCCO card, you're always going to have that where guys are really into the job as rig sig people, or they're just complete dog shit and lazy. So that's the only misfortune of this stuff, is that you have that type of stuff, but I boomed down just a little too far.
Right there. Right now. I gotta hide.
Like there, you know, I can't see where the platform is, so I don't know how much I can boom down and get away with without cabling up too fast. But I got it. I think we got 5 or 7 floors left to bring up to the crane, so having a luffer is great for this type of really tight work. Flat top works just as well, but the luffer I think is great for this. So I mean, that building will probably come right up to the bottom of my cab, so it's probably going to be pretty darn close, I'm thinking. Yes, honey, I agree with you on that. Yeah, the guy's doing. Jose's doing a great job. I couldn't have asked for a better replacement. Me and my wife were talking about this before I got on live this morning. You know, some rig sig guys are so high strung, and if they get frustrated, and angry, and they're yelling and stuff, it can affect your day. This guy is super laid back and mellow, kind of like Tommy Chong, you know. Hey man, let's just do this pick, man. So it's just real laid back to have somebody like that, because it just makes the day go so smooth, no matter how hard the pick is. So good communication skill too. That's the number one thing with a signal person. The communication's got to be there.
Alright, good right there. Come on down.
I mean, I can see, you know, I can put you guys on the floor and let you see what I see. I can see some stuff, you know, when it's wide open like this. But stuff that you can't see, there's got to be a good communication, you know. And that's the way this always goes. Rig Sig guys, it's either a play-by-play or they wait till the last minute to tell you what the hell's going on.
Stop. Take them all down. Yeah.
Like I said, I learned a lesson from that last one, just to not let shit go as long as I did, and really just put my foot down, because I was trying to be a nice guy. He was replacing someone who had left, who was a really, really good Rig Sig guy, and those were big shoes to fill, and he did not complete the task. So this guy, I think, is going to do just great. I'm trying to keep him on for the carpentry part, and I think they're going to make that happen for me. They're going to make it happen, or they're not going to like the alternative. I kind of gave them an ultimatum. So. I mean, the ultimatum is I run everything in first gear. If they try to replace the guy, I run everything in first gear, and we just run extremely slow. We'll turn 12. We'll turn 12 months into 16. I don't care. It all pays the same. We're probably going to pull the rest of these forms off this shear wall right in front of you. If you look to your right there, see you left the lifting hooks on, and we're done with that last column. That was the very last column for this. You can see all the rebar is turned down on the column, so that's how you know we're going to straight floor. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. So they're gonna, now it's just gonna be the concrete floor, and they're doing their cutouts. Like if you look over here, you can see that column, the column. Yeah, I'm not getting a great picture of it. I'm getting a lot of reflection here. But there's one right in front of you there. If you look at that, you see how it's got the indention in it. So they'll fill that in with concrete and get rid of the form where you can't see. He's actually pointing at it right there. And that'll just be flush. It'll be flushed out, and they put that extra pad in there of concrete. I don't know what for. I don't know if they're using that for something, but they've done it on every single one of them except like the outside ones. But it's coming along. I'll drop you guys here on the floor. Let me take a look around. And that's kind of, there's a tower. You can see that foam they're tearing apart. So that's what they'll do, and I'll just band them up like they've been doing. And I'm putting them down here at 3 o'clock out on their little road out there. The job is going great, man. I shit you not, when I say I'm living the dream, I'm living the dream. I love it. There's not a, I guess, you know, when you eat, breathe, and sleep cranes, I mean, there's no greater reward than seeing the end result of this job. And that goes for any job. You know, when you start something, you want to complete it and see it through, and it's really neat. You know, when I got here in March of this year, there's nothing but a dirt pad here and the tower crane standing above it. And now we've come to this point, and well, you know, when this job is complete, it'll be a building that I had a hand in. So And yes, I am one of those guys that drives by his building and says, I did that. Yes, absolutely. There's nothing to be more proud of. I recently did a video where we went back to a building that I completed in Smyrna. And it was really neat to go back and see that. And how big and beautiful it was. So, you know, when I was a welder and a millwright and an iron worker, I mean, there was some satisfaction in doing that, but you never really got to see the end result. You know, you just connected iron or did welds and did some millwright work, and a piece of machinery was leaking oil on the ground, and good morning, Chad, good morning. And a piece of machinery would be leaking oil on the ground, and that was your completion, you know. And it was fun doing all that stuff. Matter of fact, I did some work with Chad, who just jumped on here, and did some work with him up in North Dakota at a sugar plant. And it was fun. I mean, it was great doing that kind of work. I did it for 22 years, but nothing is more I've never had more satisfaction than doing this. And it was all around just better. Better pay, better satisfaction. I'm a loner by trade. I've loved being a loner and just doing my own thing. So this job worked out really great for that. If you are that type of person, this is the job for you, trust me. And, I mean, it doesn't get no better than that. You know, you got your captain's chair, you got your little AC running. I normally don't have that AC in here. My AC took a crap at the beginning of the summer, and we just didn't have time to get the new one in through. It had to come from France, and it had a real hard time getting it through customs, so my company was telling me it'd be a while before we got one in, so I jumped on it and paid $300 and bought that myself and put it in, and had a guy come up and help me, and we put it in, and it's worked great. So I told him, don't even worry about the AC, and this has worked good so far, so it'll work great for next year. But you know, on my off time when I'm sitting here, I grab the controller, get on Call of Duty Mobile, play me a couple games in between picks. I mean, it's great. It's great. Ain't too many jobs you can go to where you can say, so what'd you do today? I won 4 or 5 games of Call of Duty Mobile as I got paid for it. Yeah, there ain't too many jobs you can do that at. Don't have to listen to anyone's bullshit. Well, I mean, you do, but you don't. I mean, as much fun as I'm telling you this is, it's a ton of responsibility, man. It's the most responsibility I've ever had at a job, where you got to make sure everybody on the ground is doing their part, because you're swinging so much weight, or you're swinging something that's just a really odd piece and you can't see. So you're relying on all that communication. So sometimes you do have to put up with some bullshit as far as having a bad rig sig person. And there's a little fridge. Gotta have that. Gotta have plenty of Dr. Pepper. Got a Red Bull up there for whenever I feel like I need some wings to jump off this thing, but I will never do that. You know, they piss me off bad enough, but that'll never happen. There's a good shot. They're really starting to get this done. I'm happy to see this part completed, and we're going to get on the wood framing, and that creates a whole new set of challenges, you know. I'll kind of show you guys what the end result of this is going to be. We have one across the street that they did without a tower crane. They actually did it with a mobile crane. It took them a long time. There's the finished product. That's what this one would look like. That one has an underground parking garage in it as well. So that's what this one that I'm on will look like. It'll look like something like that. And a lot of stuff goes into that. Getting them their windows, getting them their AC units up top, getting them a lot of material that you don't see, as inside the building, as far as all the wood framing, and it's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot that goes. Looking at the outside of that, it doesn't look like a lot, but the inside is a lot of wood framing and whatnot. So. But you can see them out there. They're getting the rest of their 4x4s up and getting their platforms in. Just, it's going really good, man. I couldn't be happier. So there's a good shot of the tower. My cables, these luffers, they have that, so that's my hoist line, and it'll just run back and forth on that as it cables up and cables down. That's what we're into today. We're getting this OT on a Saturday. Always love that. I mean, if they'd let me work Sundays, I would, but they don't work Sundays here in Georgia. I think it's against the law or something here. I don't know. I think because we're in a semi-residential area, they don't allow it. So, but yeah, that's what we got going on, man. There's some, I got a bunch of tower cranes out from me. Avery, he's over there. He was on earlier. I don't know if he's still on now. Tyler, what's up, bud? But there's some big ones right there. There's some flat tops. You cannot, I don't know if you can see it or not. There's a fourth flat top over there as well, a shorty. But they just graduate. You got the short one, a little taller, and then the big one. I don't know if they have a luffer. I don't know if they have a ground crane over there or not. I don't know if they have a lattice crane over there. I've tried to look and see, but I don't know if they do. I think they do. But they got some big stuff going on over there. I know my buddy Avery's over there, and I had asked him how long that job was, and he just said years. So they'll probably be there for a while. That's a really big job site to have 4 tower cranes on. It's got to be pretty big. So that's really neat to see them work over there as a team, and make sure that they're not swinging loads into each other. And that's where teamwork makes the dream work, and that's a prime example of it right there. That many cranes working together as a team, and those guys making it happen. So it's really neat to see that. I've gotten to see their progress, and just really neat. I really get a kick out of watching them do what they do over there. So it's been a real joy to watch that and see that come together, as well as my job site. How you like those Potane? I love the Potane, man. I love the Potane. I see where you say you're running Liebherrs and Piners. I've had guys tell me that they enjoy running the Potane more than the Liebherr, but then I've heard the opposite too. So I have not had a chance to run a Liebherr yet. I don't know if I ever will. Maybe one day that will happen, but right now I've got the flat top and now the luffer under my belt, and that's where I wanted to be in my career, is be able to run the luffer in a flat top and have that in my hat. I didn't think it would happen as quick as it did. I'm glad it did. I've ran quite a few flat tops, and happy to have been able to run the luffer. Now, personal choice, I love running flat tops. Flat tops are faster, and you can get a lot more done. This building is not even a quarter of the size of the last one I did, and that was with a Potane flat top, 213 foot of jib. It was 130 feet in the air, And that job was done in 8 months. I banged that job out. They were very happy that I had gotten it done way faster than they expected, because they expected to be there 14 months and I knocked it out in 8. So just, full throttle going, man. I mean, we were moving on that job. I had a real good rig and sig guy on that job and good communication. And, yeah, I mean, we knocked it out of the park on that one. And I was real happy with it. Like I said, this wasn't even a quarter size. What I'm showing you on this job site, what that job site was. That job site was huge. And, yeah, so that was actually my very first job with Tipton Crane, and real happy with it, and it got me to this point here, and I can't wait to see what the next one is, what kind of challenges will come from it. Yeah, man, we're getting her done. Me and the wife are going to a cruising car show tonight. I'll get you guys some live video of that too if you want to keep an eye out to see when we go live. But this is what we got going on, man. Just loving it. This tower crane life is absolutely crazy, man. It's long hours, it's long hours, and it has its great rewards. So, best career move I ever made. It's something you could tell your children, construction actually pays better than a college degree. If you have a youngin' who's you're thinking about putting in college, I highly suggest you put them through trade school, because a trade will pay better than any college ever will. And I'm living proof of that. So, man, it's fun. We're getting her done, man. It's been a blast. But yeah, absolutely loving it. Like McDonald's, absolutely loving it. I mean, so I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, and I'm sure I've showed it before, but this is a really cool piece. I got what I used to do was weld, and now I'm a tower crane operator. So it has the block and hook. I love wearing it, man. It's my coolest piece I have. That one, and the wife would disagree, or she would agree with me, I guess. But this is my coolest piece. That's my wedding ring. It's a Harley Davidson wedding ring. But anyway, I'm gonna jump off here. I hadn't shared a video in a while, and I always upload these to YouTube, so I'm sure anybody who's watching this on YouTube, this was a Facebook Live video. A lot of my friends come on here and I get to chit chat with them, so that's the conversations we've been having on their comments, which don't show up on YouTube. So I'm just making that known in case they're wondering who I was talking to. So anyway, I'm gonna jump off here. We got a little bit left to do. I want to get this wrapped up so we can go enjoy our car show today and go have fun. So anyway, I am Jay Nye, the Tower Crane Guy. I'm signing off for now. Remember, if it don't make dollars, it sure the hell doesn't make sense, and you need to ask yourself why you're doing it. You're only as good as your last pick, and I promise you guys, we will see you on the next pick on Tower Crane Television. Peace, brothers. Peace.